Hello there everyone and welcome back to the GSL-English podcast. My name is Gideon and this is a podcast for all learners of English to practice and improve in a relaxed and natural way, and this is the November Natter. So if you are a returning viewer or listener, you will know that once a month I put out an episode where we just have a good old catch up. You just get to sit back and listen to some real, authentic British English as I talk about some things that have been on my mind. So if you are new here, this is definitely more of a relaxed episode. In other episodes, if you check them out, we talk about interesting topics, we break down vocabulary, we look at stories. So we do all of that as well. So make sure you do check out those episodes. But as I said, this is just a chilled out episode for you to, of course, relax, but also just take in the English language in its most natural and authentic form. So that's the idea of this one. We've got some interesting things. Well, I think some interesting things for us to talk about today. The first thing that we are going to discuss is how to use this podcast to improve your English. So there's just some points that I wanted to perhaps share with you on how to make the most of this podcast. We're then going to talk about artificial intelligence and music, because this week my mind was blown as to what music AI can create. I think there's some good points to it, but I've got my concerns. So if you are a musician or interested in music, I would love to get your opinions on that. Then we're going to talk about audiobooks. This year has been a year for me where I've really got into audiobooks. I absolutely love them. I think they're brilliant. So I just wanted to share with you why I think they are fantastic for improving your English. And there's some bits and bobs in between. So that's kind of the structure for this episode. I hope you are doing well. I hope you've had a good week. And we're going to start off this episode with an apology. I feel like I do this quite a bit. I feel like there's things I have to apologise for. But this is a big apology. There was no episode last week. And there was no message from me as to why there was no episode. So all I can do is apologise. You're not mistaken. I didn't upload an episode last week. I didn't record one simply because I just didn't have time. We had family visiting and I had planned to kind of get it done in a quick space of time and a little break that we had, but it just didn't happen. And I didn't want to just put out a rubbish episode for you. And also I didn't want to rush spending time with my family. So not a big reason as to why there was no episode last week, but that is it. I hope you do forgive me. Perhaps you didn't even notice, which would be quite sad, but I wouldn't blame you if you didn't notice. So that's why there was no episode last week. But yeah, I hope you have had a good week. I hope you're enjoying the episodes at the moment. I don't know about you, but time just seems to be flying by. This year, 2025, is almost a bit of a blur. It's been a great year, but maybe it's just me getting older, but I feel like it's been the quickest year of my life. But yeah, I hope it's been a good one for you. And we're going to do a bit of, well, I'm preparing it at the moment, but like a roundup episode of the year. So yeah, if you've got any ideas for that, anything you'd like me to talk about, or any experiences you would like to share that's happened to you this year, let me know in the comments and I'll kind of put them in the yearly review episode that I'm working on at the moment. But let's talk about the first main topic of this episode, and that is improving your English with the GSL-English podcast. So, of course, the idea of this podcast, as many of you know, is to present British English in a real, authentic way. So you can be best prepared for real life situations. But to get the most from it, I think there's kind of a 3-part method. And this applies to anything. I say this podcast, but if you watch Luke's English podcast, you watch other English learning podcasts, this will apply to them as well, of course. there's a 3-part method that I wanted to share with you, and that is relax, focus, understand. Now, this isn't something that you have to do, but if you really do want to use podcasts like this to improve your English, this is what I would recommend. Firstly, just relax and listen. Just relax, grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, like I always recommend, and just listen to the podcast. If you're going for a walk, just listen to the podcast. If you're driving to work, driving home, commuting, whatever you're doing, first part, just relax and listen to the whole thing. Then secondly, what I would recommend is listen again or watch again, but this time with the emphasis on focusing on expressions and vocabulary. Because you've already got the idea of what I'm talking about in your mind. So the second time round, focus on expressions. Then thirdly, the third part is to listen again and understand key ideas, understand context, and get the most out of the podcast as you possibly can. Understand as much as you can. So I know this might seem like a ploy just to get more views and listens, but I promise you it's not. I've done this with other things when I've tried to learn languages in the past, and I think this 3-step method works. Relax, then focus, then understand. So relax, just enjoy and listen. Just enjoy it. Passively listen to it. Listen again or watch again. Focus on expressions, vocabulary, write them down. Listen out for phrasal verbs that stand out to you. Perhaps you don't know what they mean, or ones that you would like to use in the future. And then thirdly, understand as much as possible. And I think that regular, repetitive listening is very effective because it builds on natural understanding. And what you'll start to notice is as you do this 3-step method, you'll start combining all of it into 1 or 2 listens. So rather listening separately 3 times, as you do this over and over again, as you repeat this process, you will find that you listen to it once and you are relaxing, you are focusing, and you are understanding in the first lesson. So that's just, a little suggestion of mine so you can get the most from these podcasts. But how to get the most when it comes to vocabulary? I've got a little task for you. If you want to improve your vocabulary, I want you to choose 3 new words per episode. Okay? Just 3 words that stand out to you. So it might mean that after your relaxed listen, in your focusing listen or run through or watch through of the video, you're going to choose 3 new words or 3 expressions, and you write them down. That's all I want you to take from it. 3 words, 3 expressions, 3 phrasal verbs, whatever it is. And then throughout that week, until the next episode, use them in your daily life. Even if that's talking to yourself at home, you use them. And then you repeat that process the next week, and so on and so forth. So these podcasts always come out, if I don't skip a week, Sunday, 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you can, just listen out for 3 new words, 3 new expressions, or whatever it is, then use them over the next week until the next episode. And if you repeat this process, naturally, without a doubt, your English, your vocabulary, if you can say the word correctly, will improve. So that's a suggestion of how to get the most out of this podcast when it comes to improving your vocabulary. And we're going to hone in on that a little bit later on. But also how to get the most from this podcast, to improve your speaking. I've said it loads of times. Shadow, repeat after me. Most episodes that I put out always have text that goes along with them. You can now watch on Spotify as well as YouTube. So sometimes, if there's a reading portion, pause the video and repeat after me. Just relax and enjoy it. But the reason I say to do this, it is not just about pronunciation. It helps you to build your rhythm, your flow. And when you're doing this at home, perhaps on your own, there's no pressure to solo practice. Just enjoy it. If you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. I know what some people do is if they're perhaps struggling to speak at the pace that I do naturally, they slow the video down and just repeat after me at a slower pace and then work their way up to full pace. But you're not trying to impress anyone, you're just trying to improve. And I think that's sometimes a little bit of, I know I do this in certain things, that we're not out to impress, we're out to improve. So this process, it does take a bit of time, and it's something that, takes a little bit of getting used to, but just do it with the focus of improving. You don't have to do it for the whole episode, just for a reading portion. Or even, for example, if you hear me say something in this video, repeat after me. Just pause the video and repeat after me to the best of your ability. Focus on improving, not impressing someone else. So, just some tips to get the most out of these podcasts. Listen with the 3-plan method. Relaxed, then focused, then understanding. Vocabulary, choose 3 new words per episode. Use them throughout the week until the next episode. And speaking, repeat after me, read after me, shadow with me, and enjoy it. Focus on improving, not impressing anyone else. And I just wanted to go through that because I really enjoy doing these podcasts and looking through the comments. I feel like I've got to know quite a few of you. And as much as I do want you to relax and unwind as you listen to this, I also really want you to improve your English. I really want to help you to reach your English goals, and hopefully that creates new opportunities for you in life and in work. So I just thought I'd just share a few little ideas of how to get the most of every episode that I upload. So yeah, give it a go. AI music is the next topic for discussion. Now, as long-term viewers will know, I consider myself a little bit of a musician. I played drums for a long time, can play very basic guitar. And there's this guy on Instagram that I like. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember his name. But basically what he does is he drums along to different styles of famous songs. For example, he'll take like an Eminem song and listen to it in the style of 50s soul or blues or jazz, and then he drums along to it. And the songs are incredible. So I spent ages trying to find these artists that were recreating these famous songs from AC/DC, from Led Zeppelin, from Eminem to, Gangsta's Paradise, stuff like that. They were creating these songs and converting them into these cool blues, jazz and soul styles of music. But I couldn't find the artists. And I was looking through the comments on his video, and everyone started talking about this AI music, or some people call it fake music. And I thought, no, that can't be AI that is creating this amazing music. So I dug a little deeper, and I found out that it was AI. I might be, just showing my age here and way behind the times. This might be something you already know, but there's software that can create amazing music in any style. For example, you could take Celine Dion and make it metal, and it will do it for you instantly. And I went down this rabbit hole of soul versions of modern songs, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, they were amazing. I absolutely loved it. I listened to it pretty much all day yesterday. Tuesday. That doesn't matter to you when I listen to it. Irrelevant information. And I was blown away by it, but also terrified, because I thought, what does this mean for music moving forward? If AI in its kind of early stages now can make such great music, what does this mean for musicians and our understanding and our view of music moving forward? But I tried to look at this from a neutral point of view. So what I did was I came up with 2 lists: the good and the concerns. So the good: easy and fast music creation. That's the reality of it. We can make music, or AI can make music fast and easy. Okay. Good soundtracks, material for content. So if you've got content creators out there that need quick bit of music, AI can do it for you. And the biggest kind of good or pro that I found from it is it allows anyone to experiment their musical creative sides. And I was thinking perhaps of the younger generations that give this a try. Use this piece of technology and it sparks this musical creative journey for them, which could be good, or technically it could be bad if they just focus on the AI side of it. And then I thought from perhaps like a YouTube point of view, people that are trying to get into content creation, it removes the need for expensive studios because what it creates is amazing. I really had to scratch my brain for the good points because I just find it concerning, really worrying. And here's my concerns. What does this mean? What is the impact going to be on trained musicians moving forward? In 10 years' time, what is artificial intelligence going to be able to create? I thought, does it mean now that there's going to be too much music? We've got a lot of music out there, but it's going to be harder to stand out. Another concern of mine is music. No, there's emotional depth to music, isn't there? With music, we apply emotion. We apply memories and nostalgia and everything like that. It's not just the sounds that we hear, it's how it makes us feel. There is an emotional connection to music on different levels. We're going to be battling that against algorithm. There's no emotion in artificial intelligence creating music. There's no emotional connection there, is there? If you think of the old school artists like B.B. King, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, they sang with passion, they sang with love, they sang with emotion. B.B. King played that guitar like it was another part of his body. You watch him play and it was just, it was an extension of his arms. But when artificial intelligence creates music, it's just an algorithm. And I worry about that. The emotional connection we have with music, what will happen to that? And also, we've got the ethical issues around originality and copying artist styles. So, what do you think? What do you think about artificial music? If you've heard it, put your opinions in the comments. If you haven't heard it before, go check it out on Spotify. You'll find loads of artists, or even just type in on YouTube. And I would love to know your thoughts. And perhaps, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it should be stopped? How do we control it? I would honestly love to know what you think about it. But what does it mean for the future? I was thinking perhaps we can combine the two, that artists use AI as a tool. I don't know, because then when does that end? Live music. What does it mean for live music? I don't want to go and watch a computer for, if you go see, for example, you go see a band. I think of the bands that I've been to see, even if they're not incredibly talented musicians, watching someone play live with passion and sweat and jumping around the stage and getting into it, that's part of the experience. If artificial music is something that's going to progress, what does that mean for live performances? I don't know. It worries me. I struggle with artificial intelligence. I use it a lot, but that is the kind of thing where I think, no, please just leave that to humans. Leave it to humans. As much as I loved that music I was listening to the other day, I thought, well, this is really worrying. If I love it this much at this point, what does that mean moving forward? So perhaps that's something that our creative side should just be left to humans to do, not a computer. Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know. I would love to know your thoughts on it. The next part of the Natter, audiobooks. This has been my audiobook era. I love a good audiobook. I think this year I have listened to 10 or 12. And basically I've done it just because I've been more busy. I've not had time to sit down and read physical books. And I found that with audiobooks, I can listen while I'm working, walking, cooking, cleaning, traveling. And whereas before I always just listened to music, it just mixes it up a little bit. And sometimes I felt guilty because I wasn't finding time to read, to open a book. And this kind of just fills that void of guilt. I can, listen to a book, and I know it's not the same as opening a book and sitting down and reading it. But life's busy. it will have to do. So what I do is with audiobooks, I try to separate the style of book that I read. So I'll listen to one that's a science fiction book. Then I love biographies and autobiographies about musicians, racing drivers, important figures. Then I'll try to listen to a book on history or something like that. So I try to, alternate between the style of book that I listen to, hopefully with the goal of learning and improving. But I think they are brilliant for learning a language. I think if you want to improve your English, audiobooks are fantastic. Firstly, because you hear natural pronunciation, whether that is an English speaker or a British English speaker, you get natural pronunciation. You listen to vocabulary in real context. So rather than just reading a word and seeing it on paper and getting stuck on it, you just hear that word naturally used in its correct context. It helps with intonation and flow and rhythm. And I just thought they are brilliant for improving your English, particularly if you are someone, which I imagine all of us pretty much are, is busy. And the novelty of sitting down and reading a book isn't there as much anymore. Or perhaps we don't get as much time to sit down and read. Audiobooks are your friend, my friend. I love them. Some of them I've listened to that they haven't been my favourite book in the world. But you just kind of switch off and you listen to great stories or other people's stories of their life. And so here's my tips. If you're getting into audiobooks, if it's new to you, start with books you know. Choose shorter, easier books that you can perhaps listen to a couple of times. And if you find it a bit too much, 10 minutes a day. Just listen to a book for 10 minutes a day whilst you're cooking, chuck your headphones in and just listen to an audiobook. But choose something you enjoy. I tried listening to some books, that I thought I should listen to because everyone else says they're amazing. But I didn't really enjoy them. It wasn't my cup of tea. So I just listened to what I know and what I know, what I like, what I love. Push my comfort zones a little bit, sometimes into new genres, new areas, but just enjoy it. But audiobooks are fantastic for improving your English. And if you are on Spotify, you can just go on the audiobooks tab and there's thousands on there for you to listen to within your subscription. So give it a go. There you go. All right. Now, I'm going to conclude this podcast by talking about vocabulary use and how to use the vocabulary you learn. And I've noticed that this can be something that a lot of learners can get caught up on, that they learn the vocabulary, but they just don't use it. So my first tip for improving your vocabulary use is to learn words in context. Avoid random lists. Okay, so don't go on a list of words on Google. It doesn't really help. You want to learn words through stories, podcasts, shows, audiobooks. You want to see how words sound inside sentences, within structure, within context. And this is so important. Word lists, in my opinion, do not help. Words in context do, because you remember the context, you remember the structure, you remember what you were reading or what you were listening to. And that's how you can start using those new words. And after that, you want to use words immediately. If you've learnt a new word or you've heard a new word, start using it immediately. Do not procrastinate in using that word. For example, you might get in the habit of writing down a new word that you've learned and think, I'm going to start using that. Unless you start it immediately, it's not going to happen. Use new words immediately. Make your own sentences with that word. Give that word your own context, your own structure. Use new words the same day and don't stop using them. Talk to yourself. Write a journal. Message a friend. I want to start using this word. I'm going to use it now. Whatever it is, use them immediately. And once you've done that, start to upgrade the simple words you know. Replace the basic vocabulary you have with stronger alternatives. For example, if you use the word bad, upgrade it. Be more specific. Sure, if you're talking about something that was bad quality, you could say poor or weak. Or if you're talking about the service somewhere being bad, say it was unhelpful. If something was good, a good performance, that was a solid performance. It's impressive. It's great. And when you do this, when you start to use stronger alternatives for basic vocabulary you know, it really helps you to express yourself more precisely and more accurately. So expand upon what you've got. And a very good way to do this is to use word families. I love word families. Used them a lot in my teaching in the past. What are they? Well, like any family, it comes from a root source, doesn't it? So if you look at a family tree, it comes from a root source, and then it goes down from there. Well, word families are a group of related words built from one root word. So they have the same main meaning, but they have different uses depending on grammar, on context. And it helps you speak and write with more variety, but it's a great way of learning new vocabulary. Because what you can do is you can learn multiple related words at once. You start to see patterns in grammar. Vocabulary becomes easier to remember, and you can express the same idea in more natural ways. I love word family. So here's an example. Okay, let's take the word create. Okay, we're going to create a word family around that word create. So if we take that word, what is the root meaning? It's to make something. Create means to make something. Create, of course, is the verb. I want to create better habits this year. Okay, so we've used that root word, create. Then the adjective, creative. She has such a creative style. Then the noun, creativity. Creativity can be practiced. Another noun, creation. This project is my best creation. The adverb, creatively. He solved the problem creatively. So you see what we've done there? We've taken one word, create, and we've created a whole family around that word. Creative, creativity, creation, creatively. Choose a word and do this with it. It is a great exercise, and see how big you can make that word's family. I'll give you another example. Improve. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a moment. If we take that word family, improve, we have that, which means to make something better. I want to improve my vocabulary. How can we create a word family around that? What words could we use? I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. All right, what did you come up with? It's got improve as the verb. I want to improve my vocabulary. Noun, improvement. There's a clear improvement already. Adjective or a verb, improving. Your improving confidence is incredible. Adjective, improved. The improved version is much better. So there we've created a little word family around this word improve. Can you see the idea here that it helps us to create these little family units of vocabulary? And doing this exercise helps you to just take what you already know and expand upon it greatly. Give it a try. So, choose a word, the root meaning, and then build upon that. Then use them straight away. Start using these new words. So just a few points that I wanted to share with you in the November Natter. A bit more direct, this Natter episode, but there you go. So yeah, I hope you are doing well. I hope you have had a good week. I hope your English is improving. If it is, well done. You're getting there. Everything takes time. And as I've always said, do it for yourself. Don't do it to impress. And I think once you do that, you take the pressure off the process and just enjoy the English language, enjoy listening, enjoy watching films in English. Whatever it takes to enjoy it, do that. But yeah, thank you so much for listening as always. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of your support. And if you are new here, thank you for subscribing. Don't forget, if possible, to give this video a like. And if you did get to this point in the podcast, please write November in the comments. Yeah, have a good one, guys.